Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. there is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine, irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in universe and universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve, become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 363rd One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host here once again with members and support members of the Universal Council. And I believe we're ready to launch into today's workshop. I'm not quite ready yet. I have to get the correct. I have to get the correct situation up here. Bear with me a second while I re-find it once again. Yeah. Okay, we are found, so to speak, and let the workshop.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my dear Rick. Thank you so, so much. Always. Thank you, my dear beautiful souls, always being here. And I welcome from the core of my heart and soul to the beautiful beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome to the beautiful energy of this path of beauty and totality. Let's go together. Come together and Suswagatam into the beautiful energy of all universal souls we are. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to say, in India, there is a poet. There was a poet. Well, you know how the poets and Sufis and sadhus used to write this poetry of love, kindness, beauty, and totality. I want to say that in Hindi, I will say, दिल की आवाज भी सुन मेरे फसाने पे न जा. Listen to my heart. Don't serve who I am. Yes. Hello?
No,
It's
sorry,
just
that was a background thing. Never mind.
Okay, okay. So, the words are, दिल की आवाज भी सुन मेरे फसाने पे ना जा. Listen to my heart, my dear. Don't search who I am. Heart to heart. Listen to me. I will listen to you. You and me. And the existence of truth. Well, of course, the beauty in totality. So much in beauty. So much in love. We will be always. So, here I am. The timeless true self, my dear, as you are too. Thank you. Be like that, always. Thank you for this oneness, always, in the path of peace and freedom. Indeed. Thank you so, so, so much. All the love always, dear beautiful souls. Salam, namaste, Sashwat Pranam. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Rick. We, the Universal Council, give through our souls for peace forever for all souls in existence, welcoming the new union of all nations with no borders, as one nation, one planet, one race.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, give for our soul freely to elevate all souls and be part of the soul of the peace and totality. Our wish is our command.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, give from our soul collectively that in 2025, all immigrants find prosperity with the application of Keshe plasma science and technology.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, give through our soul to people who are rejoining their countries, also those who are within those countries, so that they all have every opportunity to satisfy their needs.
We are present. We, the Universal Council, give through our soul to unify as one soul, as knowledge seekers to elevate the soul of the leaders to be part of the technology in exchange of peace. Our wish is our command. We are present.
Hello, it's Mehran for the Universal Council support. So that's a piece of words of Mr. Keshe. I love you, my soul. I live you, and I love with you, and I adore you. That's kind of acknowledgement of the company of our soul with our body and soul of physicality. When I say soul of physicality is new for people, soul of physicality, in fact, is the accumulation of soul of each cellule, center of each cellule. So accumulation of all these souls is soul of physicality, soul of the body. And soul, of course, it has to do with energy and everything related to activities, like when we dream, that the soul goes, comes back, and they are both working together until the pact is ended, the moment the person dies, and the soul goes and leaves the body. And it goes and where it is supposed to be. So we have all our life to create, not to waste it for things which don't serve, but for things which makes the soul of us richer and more powerful. And then we have a better life after that. So I was asked to do the connection of the soul, which we do regularly. And in my mother language, Farsi or Persian, and with pleasure. So it starts, and after that uh, we have a small time of contemplation. So it says, سلام. در این جلسه کوتاه روحایمان را به هم وصل می‌کنیم به سوی هدفی که داریم. روح چیست؟ در تئوری کشه ما یک جسم داریم، یک روح جسم داریم و یک روح که انرژی مرکزی ماست و احساسات خودشو داره. روح جسم یک مجموع تمام روح‌های سلول‌های بدن انسانه که خودش روح بدن رو ایجاد میکنه که آن هم احساسات خودشو داره. یک زمانی سالها قبل یکی از دانشپژوهان از آقای کش پرسید وقتی دچار حالت افسردگی میشیم چیکار کنیم؟ ایشون جوابشون این بود: بگو روح من عاشق تو هستم، عاشق زندگی با تو هستم، خیلی خیلی دوست دارم روح من. خب حالا که فهمیدیم کمی که روح چیست، خودمون رو در حالت آرامش قرار میدیم، نفس به راحتی آسان میکشیم طولانی مدت تا روحمون آماده بشه، آرام بشه. بعد روح رو میذاریم رهاشه به هر جا میخواد و با هر کی میخواد تماس پیدا و مدتی در این حالت میمون. بعد اونو به سوی با همگامی و تماس با تمام روح‌های دیگه به سمت آرزوی صلح برای بشریت میبریم. در این حالت مدتی مکث کنیم و بعد همگی با هم با روح‌هایی که به هم متصل شده آرزو میکنیم که مذاکراتی که برای صلح در راه است، برای صلح و عدالت به هدف برسه و ما بتونیم از میوه های دانش کشه استفاده کنیم و مدتی در این حالت میمونیم. هر شب ساعت 9 شب وقت اروپا این تجمع روح‌ها برای صلح و مذاکرات برای صلح ادامه خواهد داشت. متشکرم. Thank you very much. There is this annonce of the Universal Council and Keshe family and the Universal family for unifying at the soul level every time and every day at 9 PM CEST to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve the permanent and lasting peace as part of the soul of peace and totality.
Hello, Rick. You can put the video, please. Thank you.
Okay, next we have an excerpt from the 574th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And just let me get that lined up here. And that is our last workshop from last Thursday. And this excerpt starts at about the 2.5 hour mark. Okay, we're ready to go with that. And this is, let me see, about 14 minutes, I believe.
Thank you, Rick. Yes. 2 points. First, thank you, Mr. Keshe, for you love and knowledge you give us all.
Thank you.
And second, invite all people, all souls. For all the time you remember to Mr. Keshe, or you remember to the Creator to unify your soul or elevate all souls. And specifically, invite daily 21 hours in time for unify your soul with the Universal Council for for achieve the peace. All the time, all souls be part of the soul of the peace and totality. Please unify all the time your soul, but specifically in that moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think this is beautiful what you've done. I think this here is the most, as I said, the war of the religions are over. 2025 will be the first time mankind has a chance to start a peaceful planet. It's the first time when even the religious wars will come to an end, as we saw the nationalistic wars coming to an end. And we'll see, hopefully, the end of those who wanted to be the only one and the head of or whatever. Trump has created that condition. And looking in, preserving the inside than outside is is the next step in the whole structure. Very interesting what you hear in his inauguration is that we have no enemies. We have two oceans on either side, and the others, north and south, is ours, is us. We are created part of from, and we are created too. And this gives us a new insight that, the way I see it, that the time for the end of the wars has come. And as I always said, and if you read my article somewhere, that if we stop making the bombs and making the weapons and making a tool of peace, we'll see that change. But the ground is there, hopefully, if the two major conflicts, religious conflicts, which is with Vatican and the Church of Russia, Moscow, and between the Islamic world and the what we call fake war crimes of what they call Netanyahu, will come to a point that we are ready, humanity is ready to accept the new technology, and with it bring that change, because they'll be so busy with it that there will be no time to do it. It won't happen overnight. It's a slog. There's a lot of work to be done. And at the same time, changing, when you give from your soul to these world leaders, give it in the way that they get enlightened that tool of peace serves better humanity than tool of war. And specifically, pray that our religious leaders open their eyes and they put their, what they call the banner of separation, of name of the Creator, to come to an end. And this is when you meet, especially with the request of the Universal Council, there is something going to happen, and this is needed. The way we did, we brought an end to the wars. Now the religious wars coming to an end, it needs this support to enlighten our leaders to a new knowledge, that they leave the old knowledge. I said to some of the powerful world leaders in the past, very recent past, if we develop the technology that makes obsolete the most advanced technology of today, then we have to look for a system. Now is opportunity. We don't make weapons of war. In a very recent past, in a test with the Keshe Foundation, if you remember, this is done outside the military zone. It's done in the hand of the Keshe Foundation. We always spoke about plasma field, which leaves the microchip as a microchip but doesn't function. We saw this for the first time last week, outside, physically observed by scientists, by people who understand the science. By passing a plasma field through a chip in a certain strength, certain way, the chip is intact, but doesn't function what it's supposed to do. And all the latest weapon technologies have this. And if the governments decide to mount on the satellites they launch such a thing that, given the structure of the emotion and information which leads a material, a system, to be weaponized, not to work, we have achieved our peace, and we see the process of peace. In a way, what we said, doesn't matter what more advanced, B-52, F-35, whatever, with a flick of a finger, no microchip works. It falls off the skies. And we have shown this for the first time last week. And it brought me so much joy. And I said to our knowledge seekers, this is the proof of concept. They said, if you take the chip out, it's got 8 legs or 16 legs, we see burn sign. There's no burn sign. We see something else. I said, this is what we always said. And man, even your AI is so much microchip driven that you can, even AI becomes IA, nothing happens. And how our leaders in next few months change and bring an end to the war of religions, as we saw, still trying to, the whole world is running on the back of one man. This wars, these killings in the past 10, 15, 20 years. And when that man comes down, he served his purpose to bring an end to religions. Then we'll see the next step. If there is no war, let's say in Gaza, when there is no Netanyahu to push this and people live for centuries together in harmony, there is no state of Iran or Ayatollahs to defend others. And so by one move of peace, all these people lose their importance. They're just the name. And all the religions, even with the Ukraine and Russia, they're just the name. They're gone. Because the belief of the war changes. And it's the most beautiful time to bring. And even today, change of time is part of the work I do. Sitting with governments, sitting with ambassadors, enlightening them of what is, do we need to? And I ask all your knowledge seekers, in the next few days, we are working on it day and night. A number of knowledge seekers are working in the background in different levels, different ways to bring the world governments not to teach anymore. We deliver technologies that they can see. We had the most beautiful day today. I can even show you a copy of it. That oasis which we saw in the pictures, and even at the beginning, in the intro, that system on its own was tested today. Delivered the energy, delivered the gas, and delivered the water. It's not something we said we are going to do as we've done because technology has to be done. The oasis system is in the hand of the man. And we have to be wise that when we put it out, test is going to be running next few days, few weeks, will bring the change. The change does not have to come by changing the government in Tehran or changing government in Washington. It comes by giving the technology in the hand of the Africans, in the hand of the third world nation. They see the benefit of it. They pick it up. And then those who think they're in power have no power because there is no need for a power. The condition doesn't come in anymore by going to the strong. It's going to the weak to make the weak to understand they have a beauty and a structure and bring it up that they can enjoy and they can go to the next step. Go to the third world nation, go to the Amazons in Brazil, supposed to be the most advanced nation in South America, but you got in Amazon so many people, poor people. When I put the Oasis out years ago, when I saw today, I sat with our people in the past week, 2 weeks, explain to what is going to happen, what is going to be. Now is time for you to understand the knowledge. We have the Oasis system in our hand today. The water produced, the power measured, the gas is measured. But there's one hidden thing I've hidden in this Oasis system. When you create the system, through it, you have created the energy, you have created the condition for man to elevate his souls and be able to become man of universe and transmute and transform. This oasis which I gave
This oasis, which is in our hand, is not anymore for man's physicality. It's an oasis for universal, and is in our hand. And we are not afraid to talk about it. We are not afraid to do it, because our team had to mature to it, and they were matured enough in the past 3-4 weeks, work past 2 or 3 months, to be gifted this such a beautiful technology. The oasis is not just about the water, the energy, and the gas. The oasis in it, the structure of it, is to give energy fields which takes man in the dimension of the soul, and the other side to the dimension of physicality. One day I'll explain to our knowledge seekers, this system, the purpose of it is not to create gas to burn, is to create the fields of the plasmas which allows man to travel the span of the universe. And that system is in our hand today. It was achieved around early this summer. This will bring peace, and we need to elevate the soul of our, what we call, world leaders, as the Universal Council connects to the soul of us, understand our work and understand the time has come. They have made this call, and we respond to it.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the 574th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday. Now let me get back to our program here. And next we have the Q&A with the Universal Council with Claudia and Marie. And I'll get that ready. We have Claudia and Marie do their presentation on the first Saturday of each month. And this was, I think, from the 4th of January. And there will be another new presentation coming up in February. And let me see. Looks like it will be the 1st of February coming up Saturday here. So we look forward to a new presentation next week. Meanwhile, this week we have the 4th question, which we're on, and I'll just share that now.
And then we are on the 4th question. Hi, dear Universal Council. I would like to ask a question regarding the possibility of creating an artificial intelligence, AI, for learning Keshe technology teachings. This can assist us in accessing a large amount of teaching information. Also can help in a way let people more know about the development and promotion of Keshe technology. I'm interested in hearing suggestions. Is it possible? If possible, is there anyone in charge of KF IT work whom I can discuss this with?
Então vamos para a 4ª pergunta. Oi, querido Conselho Universal. Gostaria de fazer uma pergunta sobre a possibilidade de criar uma inteligência artificial para aprender os ensinamentos da tecnologia Keshe. Isso pode nos ajudar a acessar uma grande quantidade de informações sobre os ensinamentos e também pode ajudar, de certa forma, a informar as pessoas sobre o desenvolvimento e a promoção da tecnologia Keshe. Estou interessado em ouvir sugestões, se possível, alguém encarregado do trabalho da TI, da Fundação Keshe, com que eu possa conversar sobre isso.
And the first answer, if you have any questions about the foundation, you can write to info@Keshe Foundation. Subject, possible AI development, you will be redirected to the IT department and you will receive a response.
Então, a primeira resposta é: se você tiver alguma pergunta sobre a fundação, você pode escrever para info@Keshe Foundation. O assunto coloca como possível desenvolvimento de inteligência artificial e você será redirecionado para o departamento da TI e receberá uma resposta.
And there's another answer. I think you have to contact Keshe Foundation and Ella, but I think AI can be a great tool to make the knowledge of the universe accessible for all, but it needs to be free and accessible for all.
Acho que você deve entrar em contato com a Fundação Keshe e com a Ela, mas acho que a inteligência artificial pode ser uma ótima ferramenta para tornar o conhecimento do universo acessível a todos, mas ela precisa ser gratuita e acessível a todos.
And there is another answer. Do you want to make a new AI, or do we focus on the direct connection to the universal knowledge? Learn how to open your soul. Learn how to connect to each other through the dome of peace. Live the right way and become that serving soul in the unicos. Watch what will happen then. As we as individuals have to understand that it's us who have to open up the knowledge. Then we don't need any intermediaries anymore and become creators in creation. There is no more limit, dear souls.
Você quer criar uma nova inteligência artificial ou vamos nos concentrar na conexão direta com o conhecimento universal? Aprenda a abrir a sua alma. Aprendam a se conectar uns com os outros por meio da cúpula da paz. Viva da maneira correta e torna-se essa alma servidora no Unicos. Observe o que acontece então. Nós, como indivíduos, temos de aprender que somos nós que temos de nos abrir para o conhecimento. Então, não precisaremos mais de intermediários e nos tornaremos criadores na criação. Então, não haverá mais limites, queridas almas. So that's it.
So that was the answers from the Universal Council today, and I thank everyone who contributed. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear more from Claudia and Marie next week with, as I mentioned, the latest version of the workshop. And people are invited to listen in on that. Not sure what the time is on that. Perhaps we can get it from back in the workshop here. Yes, actually this is this month, so we need to have a new slide for next month's. But
It's the same.
It
At
will
the
be
same time.
the same time at 9 p.m.
Yes.
Central European
Yeah.
time. It'll
Yeah.
be February 1st, however. Yes.
This Saturday. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on.
Hello, everyone. This is MOSFET once again talking about transmutation. I represent the Bengali language in the Universal Council Support Team. So, Rick, before I talk, I'm going to bring up my drawing tool. So, let's share the screen. Do you see this? Hello, Rick, do you, anybody?
Just coming in now, yeah.
Okay, so this is the diagram from Mr. Keshe's presentation in the last Flawless Seekers workshop. So I'm going to use this diagram to explain certain concepts that we have presented earlier as it comes to transmutation. So I will briefly describe the diagram and then go about talking what I plan to talk. So this was the diagram that describes the fields, the people in the other fields that were part of the experiment that was conducted by Mr. Keshe in the last meeting on transmutation with the enhancement unit. So this was the diagram that was presented. In the center of this is kind of roughly center, kind of like you see the axis going top to bottom and left to right. And on top, along the center and along the vertical axis, we have an area right above the horizontal axis, which is essentially the souls of the people engaged in the activities that were happening that day. And if we go further down, then it is the physicality down in the right corner, towards the right corner of the diagram. And at the top, these are the universal field. On the left of the vertical axis, we have the universal field of entities that have relevance to the experiments that are plotted here. So these dots, so we can zoom in and you can see the dots in further detail, but we'll have to have the whole diagram. So in order to go into the explanation, I'm going to do. So let's first look at the, well, let me zoom out a little more. So if we come to our physicality, which is, I'll circle the area. So this is the part roughly this physical side of things. And actually it's a little more, but we'll start with like, this is kind of like roughly the small organ cellular levels and so forth. So these are fields that represent our physicality. And I'm just going to do some color coding, otherwise we'll get confused. As I talk, I'm going to use different colors to describe so let's physicality. What would be physicality? Let's make it blue. And similarly, if we come here, the universal, the fields of higher field strength, the universal domain, which is roughly this area, and we'll make it pink or something. So, and in between we have the soul dimension, which I will circle here. Yellow. So we have this soul dimension. Now, if we recall our understanding of the carbon field strength. So the top level would be our C. Okay. C14. So 14. it's C14. And our physicality, on the other hand, is C12. So we'll just write 12 here. So here we have to have the physical manifestation and the physical interaction with the physical domain, and the energies need to be converted to this level so that our body can function. So let's say we want to replace our eating or breathing, the energies, one that comes through our stomach, one that comes through our lungs, so forth. And this can be done. And for this, what do we do? We engage our soul to make these channels of transmission from the universal domain, which is the C14, to the physical domain, which is C12. So, given that, how do we make this transfer that is relevant to what we have learned? The soul, what soul does, so we try to transfer energy, food energy, let's say, to, replace the 20% food that we need. But we have to understand that this area, I will draw this area. Should I draw a circle? Okay, I'll draw a circle. This particular area is transferring. Okay, I'll draw a square. It's easier to draw a square here. I'll draw a square. So this particular area, it's showing transmission towards the physical side. Now, this transmission is happening that 80%. It's already there. It's not that we have to do anything about it. This diagram shows a lot. This 80% is being transferred. And this part of the transfer, which does not involve the soul, but when we engage the soul to essentially do the rest of the 20% directly from the energy field, what do we do? Essentially, what we are doing is we are setting up channels of communication from the C14 fields to the C12 fields of our body. The channels of transmissions are essentially these are collections of bandwidth, which is in the C13 fields. Bandwidth. These are C13 fields that we have talked about earlier. So C13 is the range of fields which we use to set up channels of communication between the C14 and the C12, C14 of the energy field and the C12 of our body. So in order to do this, what happens? We essentially, certain channels are getting created. What are these channels? These are the emotions that we use. So we use the soul level emotions to set up these channels so that the fields can transfer from energy dimension to the physical dimension. And this is, we don't use the whole spectrum of the C13, only certain segment which allow us to transfer certain field strength to the physical dimension. So here we see that how what we have talked in sort of theoretical terms into what we can use to practically actually do the energy transfer. And once we understand these simple things, C14, C13, C14 is transferred through C13, C12, and what soul is manipulating is using the unnamed emotions, the feelings that it has to set up these channels so that the transmission can happen directly. And we can see the result of it. We don't get hungry. We can slow down our breathing to the point where we may not be perceiving it very much, things like that. So these are some of the things we have talked about earlier, but we can see the connection between what we have talked in the diagram earlier, and now we can see how C14 and C13 and C12 together is you have the whole setup done through the soul and our physicality and the universal dimension of energy. It's not that far apart. I mean, we are actually very close to understanding and applying the whole thing. And some of us are applying it little by little. Some little bit have already had success. Some are having more success. And it goes on. And it's not just restricted to the C13. It's not just restricted to, let's say, feeding or breathing. You can do energy transfer to heal or even modify organs, skin, and things like that. You know, for example, I talked about burning skin, fixing burning skin. I mean, what happens here? You set up a channel so that the skin energy gets transferred to the skin so that it recovers. So it's a transmutation of the skin. So these are things that are practically doable. There are other examples of it. And so I'm sure people who participated in these enhancement unit experiments, they have more stories to tell. And we have heard a few of them. But, you know, I have, personally, I have experience with some of these things. It's really possible. But at the same time, having such a framework of theory, it's not theory, it's a theory that can be applied in our own lab or in our own body and soul. So this is a very interesting thing. So one can test these theories. It's not just something you hang it on the wall as a degree or certificate kind of thing. It's much more real than that. So I hope this makes some sense to those of you who have been listening or have some understanding of what Mr. Keshe is talking about. But this great diagram is a very helpful diagram to see the operation in the energy domain, completely in the energy domain, because the other diagram with the waves thing, that's more in the physical dimension. But this diagram is very interesting, is that you're completely operating using the gravitational magnetic field signature. And so I'm sure in future, Mr. Keshe will go into further details of how the diagram is laid out. But you can make some guess. It's the gravitational magnetical plot of some sort, and then it's not that difficult. So the two axes represent essentially, if you think of a line, magnetic gravitational field is a line, that spiral. Now think of the spiral, and you plot it on this two-dimensional plot, and you see each point has a certain field signature. Anyway, we won't go into too much detail because Mr. Keshe, I'm sure, will talk a lot more about it in future. But what we have now, the last experiment, can be used to explain something we all have the potential to do, and some are even displaying some success in doing so, with or without the enhancement unit. And so I invite everybody to do their own experiment and see for themselves what carbon-14, carbon-13, and carbon-12 really means as it relates to our own existence and operation and feeling good and the nice feelings that it comes with it. I hope everybody enjoys this, and thank you very much. I'll conclude my presentation here. If there is any question, I would be happy to answer them, and if not,
Thank you, Mosfeq. This seems like a very, very deep knowledge of taking energies from the universe or the environment and the soul. Do you have to go through, do you have to be a knowledge seeker to be able to do this, or have a very deep study for years? How, or be a mystic or something like that? This sounds, again, out of our dimension. Or how does this all happen?
well, mystics, maybe some mystics can do it, you know, but the thing is that this is very simple. What we are talking about is fairly simple in the sense that we don't have any big formulas here, but the simplicity, we have a simplicity in describing the energy dimension outside of physicality and the energy dimension in physicality and the link between the two. How do we bridge the two? We ourselves, as human beings, are a representation of the two sides of the story and the bridge between the two. So we ourselves, we don't have to be anything special. We are already that. It's just a recognition that we are such an entity which operates both in the physical dimension as well as the universal energy dimension. And this is think of it this as a tool to recover our innate ability of connecting with the universal dimension of energy. And these are just simple placeholders to keep this in our mind and then use it to benefit from it, gaining the ability to not eat, gaining the ability to heal ourselves or heal others, things like that. It's within our reach. I mean, we have heard about in the miracles of the mystics and all that you were referring to, but it's not miracle. This is the reality that we all have. And it's a reality that we all can engage in. This is nothing special. And the mystics may claim otherwise, but our existence as it is the miracle. And this is just the recognition of that miracle, nothing else.
So you mean everyone's doing it up to a point? Let's say that 80% and 20% breakdown? It's
80% is already happening. It happens so that we are already operating this way. And the remaining 20% that we essentially forgot about can be done this way too. So we can operate with the energy dimension 100%, and then we don't have to steal the energy or make others suffer to give their energy to us for our own survival. And be it in the gaseous state as we breathe, or be it in the physical state, in a liquid and solid state as we eat. Well, of course, I don't want to get too much into the gaseous part, because we know that there are plasma being above the atmosphere, and there are things that happen that comes down. So breathing is our bottom feeding in the atmosphere. So, but those of you who have heard Mr. Keshe talk about these plasma beings above the atmospheres, which have been the videos of which are available from NASA. Anyway, but these stealing of the energy or we can avoid. And in a way, this is part of the peace process. We don't make others suffer for our own survival. We survive independently as a peaceful participant in the universal context.
So whether you're a child or a teenager or an adult, the majority of our energies are being taken in this way. We're just not aware of it. Again, do you have to have a special knowledge for this process to happen?
The special knowledge is that we have to believe that we can do it and then practice applying this. And there are certain methods that we can do to practice, and some of these are available as a part of Keshe Foundation knowledge. Actually, this knowledge is available elsewhere too. But once we, as they say, have the faith that we have it, then the rest of it is going through the motion. But we have to, just like exercising our muscles, we have to exercise the muscles of our soul and mind, which is the interaction between soul and the soul of physicality. These are atrophied, kind of like if you don't walk for a month, sort of bedridden, you have to exercise your muscle to gain the simple ability of walking that we all do. It's the same thing. We have been asleep on this planet, on a bed. Now, if we want to walk in the universe, do the universal walk, we have to get up and get our muscles, stretch it, practice a little bit, and then we get there. It's as simple as that.
Mr. Keshe mentioned something around the 222 minutes into the last workshop. I think it was Myrna's question. And it was something about the lowest field, and then we are in the lowest, humblest field, and we are in the transmutation at that moment. Mr. Keshe responds, we are, yes, but let me explain this because it has to be very clear. We are at all times in transmutation. As I said, our soul never sleeps. Sleeps is a pattern of the physicality of the man. So our soul is always in motion. And in that motion's energy, we call it transmutation. And in that process, it's always on the move. Even when we're awake, even when we're asleep, even when we're just born, and even when we die.
Definitely.
So this transmutation word, even though it's a large word for me, it's something that we've been doing all along. And of course, yes.
The 80% is happening all the time.
So I was thinking about, inside the body and how we're splitting the neutrons, like, as one knowledge seekers like to say, 24-7 on a regular basis in our body. We're transmuting copper into zinc if we need that. And then how he explained about this cutting board between the thalamus and the thymus and the thalamus, and how it's in a way transmuting energies and making certain structures of dough that is picked up by the lymph, and then the lymph even goes on and puts its own touch or transmutes it. So it's very interesting. I think if we don't understand it in the macro, if we look within our own structures, we'll understand this transmutation word is not anything foreign to us whatsoever.
Yeah, we are the universe in a small scale, the micro scale, let's call it.
Like a mini galaxy.
Yeah, mini galaxy, micro galaxy, let's call it.
And it was so amazing when he said each atom has its own black hole. Each plasma has its own black hole. So yes, it's just an amazing process. And then what he talked about, these chips in the clip that we heard, is that a transmutation when you pull the gold or you pull something else out of a chip? This is what he's saying with the AI or with any of these weapons that rely on microchips. And he said the AI becomes IA, but I think he meant to say DOA, which is dead on arrival.
I I'm not going to disclose something, but we had some Universal Council meeting at one point about this specific topic. That was when? That was, let's say, about 3, 4, no, more than that. It was before Corona, so it would be 2017. We had a meeting about this particular topic, and some Universal Council member wanted to directly disable certain things. Mr. Keshe said it's not time for it yet. I just, it was just funny. He referred to this IA thing that you just talked about, but this came up long back.
Mm-hmm.
And this was time is coming. Things are happening now, so we will be. Think of it this way: carbon is a big component in the microchip. I mean, I come from that world, by the way. So, if carbon is part of a microchip, and if we can use this C13 to somehow modify the carbon structure within the microchip, what will happen? That IA thing happens. We are all capable of it. The thing is that potentially capable, but are we? Do we want to do it? Do we need to do it? No. We can live with, let's say, artificial AI if it behaves. But does it? Can we interface with it without, let's say, Elon Musk's chips and all that thing? No, we don't need any of this chips. We can directly interface with it. But let's see. Time will tell how we go about doing it. But going the microchip route is a rather cumbersome way. You can create a similar artificial entity using plasma very easily, much cleaner, but it's the same issue arises of an artificial intelligence, because it's like when we create a spaceship, we interface it directly with the reactor system. It's the same thing. It's an AI, and we interface it with it, and that navigates the spaceship. So we are not quite ready. We are getting ready for it, but we are not quite there to operate such a spaceship, but soon we will be. Operating the spaceship is essentially operating our breathing and eating. It's the same story. We are essentially playing with our own control system, which is our body and emotion. Once we have a deeper understanding of it, we can do other things too. And a reactor system is, again, same thing.
Thank you,
anyway,
much.
We are drifting way off, I think.
Maybe someone else would like to ask a question.
Yeah. In any case, if no more questions, I can stop sharing this, and Rick, you can.
Actually, we do have a hand up here.
Yes.
And please see.
Yeah, I have my question. Yeah, I have my question on the chat, but I can read it out. The question is to give or take energy out of anything, there has to be some kind of movement of fields, right? And that is only achieved. Is it only achieved by nano-coding of either of the component? I'm talking about the chips now.
You're talking about microchips?
Correct.
Yeah, but energy transfer can be between matter state. It doesn't have to be nano state. It can be matter state.
Well, if it's matter state, usually there's no dynamism.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. It's less dynamism, but you can always, think of this way. When you do nano coating, what do? We essentially apply a field to release the spacing in the atomic structure, such that there is better energy flow. You can do the same with thoughts.
So the matter state has to be nano-coded. That's the question.
Not nano-coded. You can turn a matter state make a matter state behave like nanomaterial by adjusting the spacing. You are adjusting the field. By adjusting the field, you adjust the spacing. And once you adjust the spacing, you can make energy flow through it. So it doesn't have to be nano-coded. You just modify the structure a little bit, and it will absorb the energy. The energy is absorbed by matter anyway. The thing is that you just have to adjust the fields a little bit so that it absorbs the field. That's all. And so it doesn't. Nanomaterial is a way, and making nanomaterial is a way of make us understand that there are states between matter and field, intermediate states, just such as nanomaterial and GANs. So, but we are thinking in terms of discrete steps like nanomaterial and GANs, but we can just adjust a little bit. There are other states between a nanomaterial. You can essentially think of all these molecules in an atom or in a material. They have a certain specific spacing, let's say in copper. Now, when we make nanomaterial, the spacing is greater, but can you adjust it a little less so that you don't, instead of supplying the energy that you supply from the caustic, you can adjust a little less. You can still make it absorb. It's kind of like a between state. So you have a spectrum of states that you can adjust and make the behavior of the atom different, material different. Like you can see that, some material, like from solid to liquid, they go into like the squishy material, like gel type of material state. So these are neither solid nor liquid, but intermediate state. So the material between normal state and nano state can similarly go through intermediate state. And you can transfer energy easier that way. There are multiple methods here, but I'm just giving you examples that it doesn't have to be nano for it to have the transfer to happen. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for all of thank you for all that nice expose. I think the reason why we don't let transmutation happen is that fear that we want to belong to this culture, to these people, to this life here, and we're afraid of going out of the norms. It's us who prevent ourselves to let go and continue in experiences, new things. I think maybe little by little we can get used to it.
Yeah, you're right about the fear, but the thing is that how do we get past this fear? By strengthening our muscles, right? Once we are confident, then fear goes away. But we have to put that effort to strengthen ourselves, to, let's say, build up courage instead of fearing, and then we get there. So this is when I talk about experimenting or practicing, this is what I mean, to gradually build up courage. You want to jump from a plane without a parachute? First you have to know how to do when you land. So it's the same thing.
Sorry, thank you very much. Thank you.
I also thank you, my dear Mashfiq, for your beautiful teaching always. We understand our ability now. Some thousands of years, maybe we came here with a revenge in heart that there should be a war. But this time, as you said, the communication. We came for peace. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for always your teaching, my dear. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mashfaq. And our next presentation here is another excerpt from the 574th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday. And this starts at about the 45-minute mark. Bear with me a second here. Here. Almost got it set up, just a couple of seconds more. All right. So again, this is an excerpt from the 574th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and this starts at the 45-minute mark. We're going for about 7 minutes.
If you notice, all of your body has all the pictures we show, we take. I explain to you to understand more, because we are one structure as a Keshe Foundation. This is your testicles, your production, where the soul of your children sit. This strong position is where your thyroid gland is, where the physical body and the heart sit. If you notice, there is no connection, loop connection, in this side, where it is in this side, where the physicality creates through the emotion of the soul the diseases of the man. Then, in the future, you don't need injections, you do not need operations. Physical damages even can be sorted through the energy fields of the body of the man. You go to the soul of the man, you feed the soul of the man, and with it, it feeds the physicality where the problem is to correct. In so many ways, you will learn in the coming time which one of these you need to take to become the energy that the physicality does not need to eat another soul to create, to live, and to exist. This is not the created data. This is you lot who sat last Friday in the system. And it's very, very strange how most of you, most of the pictures, most of the graphs ends up in a very, very clear way of how man in a space will live and how man in a space will survive. When he transmutes and when he manifests itself. And as you can see, you can manifest, transmute, manifest. Very simple. It sits one after another. Understanding this, and we allowed this. We allowed emotions, feelings, physical condition, all to be interacted with in the session of the last week. And we've seen how people change, how people have changed, which part has changed, and the way they changed, and the way they wanted to change, or bring a change, or to see. And many of you, in your testimonials to us, speak about the light. Why do you see these lights? Why do you continuously living in these sunlight? And how this light, with the interaction of this, literally your soul with the soul of the universe, brings that brightness, that light, that in a way like the daylight feeds you, this light feeds your soul. And if you understand how to do it, if you can achieve it, then you don't need the physicality dimension, or you can dictate when the physicality manifests itself in any dimension. These are the very first steps in the world of the science of the creation, energy transfers, understanding the process. And I'm sure in the coming weeks and months, we bring you more knowledge in a way that any of you can go through transmutation. But the problem is, we have to teach the souls, and the souls have to be there to learn that in the process of learning, they share. Once one enlightens that. And then it builds up to that process. And then when I pass away, the daughter of Mitra, which is amongst you, will take over. She's trained to take you to the depth of the universe and teach you the rules of the universe. My job is to take you to the universe. It's like going to a new country. A plane takes you there. But when you land, you need people to teach you how to live. What's the tradition and what's the rules? It's different number you took off. Where the soul left the physicality of the man. That's the job of the daughter of Mitra, and not mine. Even though I can teach you, but the love she carries as a woman is the love of the mother, which is the Mitra. And you learn. She'll never speak, but spoken through the soul of the man. "2025 is that time of transition. And as we said, we change the humanity. President can affect the work which has started for the elevation of the soul of the man this year.
All right, that's our excerpt from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop. And let me see, next we have, I think this is with Moshfek. Invitation to share the testimony. Or invitation to the next monthly session with Mark.
Okay, this is an ongoing process of learning a little bit more. February, March, and April are offered in the Keshe Foundation store. You can see what the offers, what kind of funds you'll need to participate in that. I know he said they're going to start testing about putting you through a cycle of communication while you're in transmutation. I'm not sure exactly what that means. And again, this process is keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. So as he said, we've given a lot of information, and the graphs that you just saw were developed by those who participated in these sessions, but it's added a lot if you're a scientist like Mr. Keshe. For me, looking at those charts and graphs, they don't mean a lot. I'm not really certain how to read them or understand them, but we're getting introduced to them. And I know that's leading to even touching children in the womb of the mother. So a lot of beautiful things are happening. I know we'll understand more in the future time, but come in, everyone seems to have a different experience. And of course, as Mr. Keshe said, we're testing different energies on different people to see what sort of feedback, or again, it's all a development for the team and the doctors to learn more and to continue to develop. But the main point is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. And so we're sort of like little guinea pigs in a way. And sometimes we do receive gifts within there. I know I've had pains go away that I've had for a couple of weeks in my arm. I've received something in the brain with the plasmatic water. And other people have experienced that too. And I think that's part of the changing the inertia or the salinity to be able to feed, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I think the main point is to keep the Keshe Foundation free, allow systems to develop so that they can be either worked into apps or worked into the OASIS system, or however, maybe a combination of both. And this is the, in a way, a blessing of being able to volunteer in these sessions. And you can see the work is just tremendous if you're a scientist like Mr. Keshe. I'm not quite there yet, but I just understand the bottom line is to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. Anyone would like to add anything? Again, a lot is not revealed, even though you can write your experiences or what you noticed, or again, any changes within you to the Keshe Foundation. That has not been shared publicly, but as he said, it seems like a lot of people were reporting the same thing, so we know it's correct of what's going on in these sessions. And I've seen a lot of little lights, like what he was pointing to in one of these graphs, but I just thought it was just, maybe it was, again, I didn't connect it to that being a nesting place or that being a connection to the creator. But it's sometimes like when you rub your eyes, you see these little spots or stars, sometimes I think they call it. But this happens in the session. And as I said, many people have experienced different things. But as he also said, this is one, the Keshe Foundation is one structure. And part of this is when the first soul achieves that transmutation on the soul level, it'll be shared with the other souls, as I understand it. So we're all working towards this. And of course, the full cycle of transmutation will be part of the elimination of the borders, because we all have the capability to do it. It's just remembering something perhaps we used to do on this planet, like when we had a tail, growing our own tail and so on and so forth. So we encourage you all to participate. This is one way to support the Keshe Foundation. As he said, we need support in every shape or form. So whether it's this or whether it's using your soul to join at 9 p.m. Central European time for the elevation of others, or provide that transmutation of energy for them to pick up, it's all an expanding experience. So we ask you to join if you can afford it, but if you can't, the best tool I think we have is to use the power of your soul collectively with us at that point. As he said, it's not going to be easy, and it's not a day job for elevation of these world leaders to become enlightened. But we continue on, and I think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. As he just indicated, Trump has set some conditions. But again, it's not going to be up to one world leader or one government, as he also mentioned in there. And I'm looking forward to the African nations picking up on this technology as well. And hopefully we can avoid the airline in the future time. But he said the travel in the matter state has also its own beauty. So we'll be able to experience both, more or less. And we're trying to get that full cycle of transmutation from matter state to energy, and then, of course, back to matter state. And this is what we're learning. It's taking time, but I think the team and the researchers have learned quite a bit. again, it's not fully explained. We actually get more knowledge about what happened in the sessions in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. So it's normally a hello, an introduction, and then thank you for joining us. And what they've seen in a way, just in general terms of how much they've learned. And thank you for, again, keeping the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. Anyone else want to add something on this transmutation?
Well, that's a pretty good description, Mark, and it reminds me that the responsibility is put back on ourselves. Basically, it's up to us to create our own transmutation flight plan. Basically, it's something that comes from our own decision to be in the flight training sessions, and through that decision and through our interaction with ourselves deep inside to try to connect, I think those efforts are part of what we are able to do in those sessions. There's an opening or sort of a portal that makes it more accessible or more easy to move in to those spaces. And occasionally we can have some interesting results. Maybe not always, but perhaps when the conditions line up just right, maybe we'll have a glimpse of Mithra, or a glimpse of unconditional love or other such aspects. So it is subtle, as Mark says. There's a beginning and then there's an end, and you are the middle. So it's up to us to make it.
Right. And it's an individual work as well as a collective work. This out. And we're learning more. And of course, I think the soul is getting introduced to some things too, or maturing to certain levels, or again, confidence, although we would assume the soul has supreme confidence, but I know it's always going through a maturing level, whatever step it has reached. There's always more maturity to come, and there's always another step after that step.
Thank you, my dear Mark, for so much clarity and beauty.
I would
Really,
like to add.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Is that, yes, soul is has the right information and the energies, but we are listening to the soul of physicality. That's where the distortion come into play. So as we learn to focus more towards the soul of man, and then we come into balance and engage the soul of physicality as needed, then the whole process becomes more balanced energetically, and then the operation becomes, let's say, much more harmonious with the Creator. And this is where we have to move. I mean, our attention is now focused on the soul of physicality side, physical world, soul of physicality, and so forth. But the shift of focus has to happen for the operation to become more and more harmonious. Well, of course, not everybody will proceed at the same speed, but if there is enough of us focusing on this soul of man side, things will take on definite speed that we are experiencing, I'm sure, by now. So there is hope that we will have more focus on that side, and the speed will further accelerate.
You have a question from YouTube regarding the transmutation flight. Probably is an appropriate time to ask it. From Waruru Kuria from Kenya. Can one trade their time or tokenized assets to access the transmutation flight to destination? And the second part of the question, how can we best collaborate from Kenya? And it says, I love you guys. So can one trade their time to access the transportation flight? I don't think there's any pathway for that, or tokenized assets. I'm not quite sure what he means by that. Perhaps Bitcoin, but there's no Bitcoin payment system in place right now. So basically, you'll have to convert your assets or time to money to make a payment in order to access the transportation flight.
I believe you're correct, Rick.
You could perhaps write a letter and ask for some support or sponsorship in that. And it may be possible that folks from Kenya will get an additional consideration that way. Mr. Keshe had that plan at one point that people from Africa were given the extra ability to be able to attend. So how can they best collaborate from Kenya? Well, Ashfaq has talked and others about you don't necessarily have to sign up for the transmutation flight plan. You can participate on your own, basically, and try to connect with the Mr. Keshe and the group that are working with it. And you can work with it during the hours that it might be operating at, and try to connect with the home base. Anything else you can add to that, Mosfek? You mentioned that before. How can they best collaborate from Kenya?
Well, I mean, the most powerful mechanism for communication is the soul. So practice using the soul. That would be my suggestion. And it requires it may not happen in one day, but start doing it with the assumption that, or with the belief that it's possible, because some people have done it. So once we know that it can be done, it's a matter of putting the necessary effort to do it. And slowly you start to sense how it works. And do we need a communication device such as a mobile phone to do it, which is again an additional expense? You don't need it.
Right, and can't they join at the 9 p.m. and start using the energy side collectively with all of us?
Yes,
it doesn't cost anything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as Mr. Keshe said, we're opening the mystery of the matter state of the entity to its energies. And this is a great way for you to start exploring your own inner galaxy, I guess, and also to elevate the world leaders and religious leaders as a starting point, and you can expand it from there.
And also, my dear friend from Africa, I will say, jump into the spaceship of Keshe Foundation. You will find the beauty in totality, my dear, as we are all, as Moshfek said, peaceful beings searching for this love and kindness. You will get it. So, and all of the whole world is invited. So jump in this oneness. in the Spaceship of Keshe Foundation. Welcome, welcome.
Also, it comes to mind that Dr. Gatawa is in Kenya, and you might want to connect and get some information from him on how to collaborate, you could say, with others in Kenya, get together as a group and maybe do some group activities or create some GANs or something like that. So there are some active things happening that you might be able to get involved with there.
And Mr. Keshe did mention the African nations picking up this technology and moving on it, and he's many times referencing how in the United States our infrastructure has to be amortized, all these things have to be paid for, and in countries that don't have a lot of this infrastructure, that, in other words, before they move to the next system, the current system has to be paid off. So this is a beautiful entree into the nations of Africa. I think they'll be receiving a lot of the technology from the Keshe Foundation as a gift, in a way, if they don't have the funds. But I'm sure there's many funds at the governmental level. And so this will just be spread through the population and grow that way. But they're much more apparently ready to accept the new technology than so much in the West. I was thinking about these fires in LA or Palisades that happened, and how the military in Vietnam was so successful in creating rain and so on, but they didn't use that technology there to sort of suppress the fires in a way, because they're a bit or quite a bit hesitant on showing new technologies. This would get you to think out of the box, and obviously there's more. But now this is, as he said, 2025 is the year of bringing this into the market. So I think Africa is going to be off to a head start in a way, demonstrating and providing this for their nationals in a much easier way than in the West.
Well, Wawuru says in the YouTube, I already feel the connection from your communication, and it is beautiful. Thank you for that. We have a further question from Sheila. It says, I am learning some extra steps in transmutation of energy into materialization. Would I be a distraction? I don't think you would be a distraction. It would...
Not at all. This is the whole gaining an aspect of immortality. Unfortunately, heaven and hell don't exist. So if you're developing this ability to move from matter state into energy, or from energy into matter state and back to energy, this is an aspect of immortality that you can gain. And I think this is another gift, in a way, from the Keshe Foundation, and dismissing a lot of the myths that we've been taught, especially when you go out into the universe, and what he said about the universal community not really have a belief in God, but a belief that they're part of the whole structure. So if I was a lost soul and I happened to go out into the universal community, and I bumped into another entity, and I say, hey, can you point me, which way is heaven? I'm sort of lost. Unfortunately, I think I landed in the wrong place. And they're going to shrug their shoulders and say, we don't know any place in the universe called heaven. So this is why he's encouraging us to explore this dimension before the final bell, or before the final call. Because if you wait till you are in the universe, you're going to have quite a bit to learn about this whole process. So we have the opportunity to explore here and now in the matter state of this energy dimension in a much, much bigger way than we ever thought was possible. But again, that's just our, as Mosfeq said, our physicality sort of weighing us down.
I think there is some basic thing for all of us, every human, is we have some ethic in Keshe technology, and the ethic of technology teaches us to be a kind human being, not to steal, not to kill, respect other life forms, to be ready to help, to serve, and try to develop unconditional love. I think it happens to all of us. Sometimes we are discouraged of unconditional love. There, conditions happens to us, which we get confused because people it may not be unconditional love themselves, and they strike us with that. And always we have to think and go back again to conditional love, because otherwise our heart becomes dark and we lose our power. So what we can do all the time is to power our souls. When our soul has power, it makes things happen. They call it prayer. When we use our soul power and we fix it on subject which really is needed and desired and legitimate, we can do that. So we can always develop this power of soul to make things happen, which can be anything. And also, I think at the time of transmutation, you can touch yourselves. You can share yourself with people who are doing that. See what happens. If we want, we can achieve anything in here. And I'm sure that one day the technology has been developed and straight and simple, that we just take the headphone and get connected to others for transmutation. So we just have to be patient and work on us. Unless we don't purify ourselves, we don't have the best results, in fact. So we have time to work on us at the same time. Thank you.
And of course, for everyone, you can go back to the 23rd, the last 20 minutes of the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, where Mr. Keshe explains a little bit more in detail of how learn how to pray through your soul. And I think this is a very enlightening and elevating piece that he put forward. And again, this was 10 or 11 years ago, but the same situation exists today. So for the gentleman in Kenya or any of us, just to go and reaffirm, learning how to pray through your soul.
Well, it turns out, Waweru says, we serve millions of people throughout Kenya since my dad is a bishop. I cannot wait to start exposing this technology through the branches. May your light shine on the mountaintop. We are ready to awaken the Church of Africa to our original structure, where we all can become Christ. Very good. Thank you, Waweru. So we never know who we're addressing, who's behind the names. Interesting. And Sheila goes on to comment, I was shown to gradually expand my physicalities now by adding now from source. All right, that's very nice. So perhaps we can move to our next slide here. Are we ready for that? Or is there more comments?
I also want to thank you, friend from Kenya and Sheila. Thank you, my dear. Thank you for expanding your ability. Thank you.
Okay, and our next slide or next presentation is quite relevant to Africa as well. And it's on the Oasis project, and this will be an extract from the 573rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop a week and a half ago. And let me get that lined up here. Last week we saw the first part of this Oasis excerpt, and this week we're going to have a look at the second part.
In this original, yes, I was just going to ask you, Rick, where you had put the picture there. It would be great if we could read that couple of paragraphs. I know it's not too clear, but this was the concept, and what you saw with those three boxes is the delivery of them. Of course, this is the beginning stages of it all, but it's beautiful. I don't know if anyone can read that, or we have a clear background for it where we could actually see the words. And this is what Mr. Keshe did 25 years ago, went to the world governments, and he said, I can show the people on the planet how to feed themselves and create their own energy. And of course, the governments rebuffed him at the time. So this is a 25-year process. This was the conception, and what we saw in the 473 is the actual delivery of the Oasis system, which everyone should have an Oasis system.
I think that's about as clear as I can get right now without trying to find the original document. I think the original wasn't that clear even as well, perhaps.
I think I could read just a...
Yeah, if you want to go ahead.
I'm going to try. It keeps going to a smaller screen for some reason. Every human, the Oasis Project, every human has a right to have electricity, water, food, and warmth. His proper oasis. Today, 1.6 billion people lack electricity. A shame. How many drink only dirty water? How many need warmth and shelter? How many are hungry? How many worry about their kids? To us, to many of us, needs basics. What can we do? A solution. Therefore, we start the Oasis Project and target to give every human minimal comfort. We can do that through new developments in plasma reactor technology. A nuclear reactor designed by M.T. Keshe, a nuclear physicist, is the heart of a special energy water supply system. A Oasis unit can create on any spot on Earth water, current, and heat.
What is going on?
What we can get. The moment.
Whoa, it's going. Oh, sorry. My my clipboard was pushing on the keyboard key and causing us Mr. Keshe to stutter somehow.
I thought perhaps it came in and intervened here.
I guess. Carry on, Mark. You're doing
okay.
A
An Oasis unit can create on any spot on Earth water, current, and heat. It is a small, omnifunctional, portable unit that can be used in all areas with extreme living conditions and a high need of water, current, heating. The low-cost longevity Oasis unit can be made in all sizes and may include various modular extensions. Need to satisfy basic needs, an Oasis unit will trigger development of local economy, agriculture, and trade. Access to electricity provides also access to electronic devices and communication means, which will facilitate distant education and promote human knowledge. I think I'll stop there. But this was the concept, and now we actually see the delivery of it.
I'll just read the final paragraph here if I can. Small-sized Keshe Oasis units of the size of a suitcase will provide current, water, light, and warmth in refugee camps, hospitals, and disaster areas. Organizations like the UN, the Red Cross, and NGOs may distribute and use OASIS units. Governments can include these versatile units in their proper social and economic programs and policy. All right, so let's listen to the video and see what Mr. Keshe says about it. Let me just back it up a little bit here. Okay, let's begin.
Ourselves, we value ourselves to what we want, what we need, what we can get. At the moment, this is the back knowledge to what I've been explaining for years, and I go against people like Bill Gates. They want to reduce population. When it comes in next 10, 20, 50 years, when with this technology, it's going to come out. It has come out. We see it in so many ways. That you don't need to work. You get fed by the stations. You create your own energy, and there's no way they can tax it. And you work for it, for whatever it is. We open the space, and everybody goes to space. Nobody's going to pay wages to anybody who's in the space for 1, 10, 20 years. Everything is provided by the system. Then the value of a doctor on board of a ship and the guy who cleans it, same. Maybe the doctor gets bored and he does start doing the cleaning because he does a better job than the cleaner. And this is what social structure difference has come for the ego of some people. With this technology, when we bring the energy, when we bring the water, when we bring the food and your medication and everything else, all provided by one central system that you don't even see. You walk on the street, you absorb the energies you need to live. You never live hungry. I'm running a test in past year. In a way, if you've seen me in March of last year in Sanya, I've lost nearly 20-25 kilos in past 8 months. Specifically controlled and specifically managed, not as a diet, not to lose weight, but to understand the change of the structure which I'll bring in. How they affect people mentally, psychologically. I have to understand the work of the body of the man to be able to handle the body of the man. Losing 20-25 kilo in 8 months, 9 months has been no problem because I have understood the structure of the energy fields. I have to feel it. This is why we come on these planets, we come on these manifestations, to understand the pitfalls and how it is. And then I don't need to eat 2-3 days. I don't feel like eating. But I don't go through the game of, oh, I do this and that. No, I structure it from the plasma point of view, energy point of view. And the way I eat, if you eat, you might put 20 kilos on. But understanding the fields of it, this is why I know how a hungry man feels. What it needs. What can you satisfy it with? I can give you a glass of water. You don't need to eat for 3-4 days, maybe a week. Some of the knowledge seekers in some sessions of the Fridays don't eat for days and weeks. They lost appetite for a lot of things. Because now they see the energy coming into your body. They see this is one of the reasons I said 3-4 weeks ago, I was so sick. I never had such a condition was because going through this, I felt the energy coming to me. The doctors test me for every kind of virus, flu, influenza, COVID, blah, blah, is all negative because it's the energy pack in a protein level. But I stood, I learned, I understand what is the next to do. We do not need to eat. And we have become slave to eating, and they have used that to slave us. I do anything to have a shelter, I do anything to have a heating, I do anything to have food. And if I cannot get it, I get a tent, I get a cardboard box, and I look around for the food in the market, somebody is left over, whatever, where I can provide you heat and food and water through literally the structure of a headphone. This is what we've done with you. This is what the trials are. If I play music on the streets while you're passing, and in a way, the microphones which in the same background silently feed you, while you're listening to the music, you receive all the energy you need. Do you need the supermarkets? Do you need people to control your food? Do you need the energy? You will see very soon we market the what we promised you, the gas unit and whatever is going to be marketed very, very soon in a very different way. When you fit this system into the cooker, in the oven, in your house, and you don't need to buy gas anymore. You don't need the supply of energy, you don't need water anymore. So what's going to happen? All these wars, all these British petroleum wars for fuel and energy is gone. It's obsolete. The oil industry, energy industry, the way it's grown in the past 50 years, in 2025 it's going to hit the rock. There are going to be huge things to do with, but that's nothing because we do the same thing now in the wellness, we do the same thing in agriculture, we do the same thing in food. And once we become not a slave to it, then we open the space. I do nothing here, I better go and see what's happening in the space. It costs me nothing because everything is provided for. We made prisons and we provided people to create more criminality. Now we bring the spaceships to give the open spaces, people to prison themselves in them, to see more, not to be criminals. Instead of staying around here doing nothing and whatever, suffering, in the space, everything is in the spaceship. Your food, your medicine is just as fields absorbed by your body. You're a passenger of pleasure. And it's not the theory anymore. As we told you about the gas units, gas energy units. Excuse me, Italians again. Hello. The Italians again are on the run.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what is on the way. This is what it is. Now, let me explain to you something very interesting. If I get hold of it, I show you, then you understand as knowledge seekers. You've been with me like a rock. And you stood by us like everything else. Good and bad, you've been there. You lost money with us when we trusted people. You helped us when we stood there. Let me go and show you something which you as knowledge seekers will understand what this means. Photos. It's going to take me a few minutes, but just be patient because it's your achievement more than us. It's what we as knowledge seekers and you as stood there supporting us with everything else. Let me show you something very, very interesting. Just bear with me. I have to find what I'm looking for, and as usual, I'm a slow coach. Do you remember in the presentation of Linz a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, we showed a huge box producing the gas? Do you remember that?
I remember that.
The box was about 1.5 meter by 8. I'm trying to find a picture of it. I don't know if Rick can get to it. It's a gas production unit. I have to find it.
It was after Yusuf's presentation in Iran that you showed that in Linz.
Yeah, but now I want to show you the reason I want to show you. If anybody got it, if Rick got it, it's a big box with the gauges on it and everything, producing the gas. Weighs about God knows how many kilos. I have to find it.
One gas energy blueprint. It's got it shows the operation with the gauges and so on. Is that the one you mean?
Do you have that one?
Yeah, I've got that here right now.
Okay, can you put it up if it's the one I'm looking for? Then I explain to you. Let me see. No, not this one. Not this one. Not this one. No, the one in Linz, not this one. It's a big system, a wide system.
Mr. Keshe was
It's like an ice cream box. It's like a refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Let me see if I can find that. I'm not sure if I have that.
I'm looking for it somewhere.
Mr. Keshe was working around it and explaining it, if you remember, Rick.
Yeah, I know, but I want to show you to understand. You knowledge seekers keep on beating at us, Mr. Keshe. What happened to this? What happened to that? Why is not there? I'm trying to find it. If I find it, then I can tell you when we tell you the changes to come. Understand it. A little bit longer. Just be patient. It's Keshe Foundation teaching. Nothing is ever planned. It's the one with got the orange thingy on it.
It's a huge stick, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah, it's just like a freezer-sized box. I don't know. When I wanted, I don't see that. I saw it a few days ago. It's a chest freezer size. Oh, what a shame. I can't find it. And the other day it was there. I could pick it up straight away. It's important for this. If I talk about it, it doesn't bring the essence of it. You got to see it, and then it really brings it home. Anyway, I tried to find it while I was speaking to you, but this system, you can imagine a freezer size, chest freezer size system, which we showed for production of gas, and you lot kept on battering us that Mr. Keshe, you said you give us the energy and gas production unit and everything else. I have to find it. That's the one. Thanks, Dean. Then just forward it. Okay, now let me explain to you. I have to reduce it. I have to do this. Okay, save the photo. Go to my Zoom. Cancel it. I share it with you. Now you understand what it is in technological development. And then it's only Keshe Foundation who's involved and we're doing it, so you will understand exactly what I mean. These are the, do you remember this?
Yes.
Yes.
You seen the size of it? Now this is what has become one of these black boxes. Development in technology. And this suitcase is what's going to hit you in the market. Even maybe it's smaller than this, but in a much better packaging. It will look fancy. It's not that we sat down doing nothing. Technology development takes time. 2 years. And what you see here, it shows Chinese leadership, military, and the rest, and the government. The manure has hit the fan for the energy people, hasn't it? Would you like this in your house? Or would you like this in your house? And it's not one, it's three. And this is where, when you supply, what are you going to do with it? Miniaturize it or use it the same? This is literally, when we finish with this, maybe we have a couple of months to complete it, there'll be that oasis system which Rick was showing. Gas, energy, and the water from the same box. When you have enough energy and you can connect it to give you enough energy to eat or whatever, would you like to be that Austrian guy not going to work? Why should I? Everything's given to me. Can we add in the mixture of the water and the gas, which you think you're breathing or you're burning with, a mixture that gives you moral satisfaction? Now, you can see the change, what is about to come. As I said, we have placed it in locations that if anything happened to me, get released, the world of energy, all these Rothschild family are all up the smoke. Now you understand the power of the technology and what is about to hit us with. And if you look, it's sending me pictures and pictures again. Let me just take a picture from what he just sent. Thank you very much, Dane. This is from the photos that Dane, as a photographer of the Keshe Foundation, has taken over years. If you look at this new picture, where are you? You saw the other three pictures, other two pictures. Now, if I add this picture to the set, what you see here, if I open it, you see the gas unit, the CO2 unit, and the energy unit. You see the refrigerator next to it and the lights, if you remember. Now, this is what it was on the gas and the other one. This is the communication unit of the same thing. But what you saw, what's in this box, is what you see here. All in one box. You tell me why we produce CO2. I mean, you showed, if you remember, that up here is a CO2 gauge detector. Why do we show? What has this got to do with this? Do you remember how water is created? Combination of those three technologies in one of these suitcases gives you the water, the energy, and gas. Which the gas is not for burning, gas is for mixture of different lead to give you as a plasma energy for your food and medicine. This is a truly God-created system. But man doesn't understand. As the guy, one of the top guys in the government told us, just show us it burns for 7 days. That's all we are interested in. Your ignorance is your bliss. And then, if you understand how the system in this works, and I put this into it, you decide you want an apple. The system produces the energy of the apple through the gas, through the water, you drink it. We are true scientists and understand the working. I keep on shouting at you, Mr. Keshe. What happened to the gas energy system is there in front of you. And even I say to you something very simple, as all of you are, some of you are whatever, I show it to you in a very simple way. Just be there in a second and I'll show you in a second what it means. I can burn it for you. One flame, one can feed. I don't need to change the second one into a flame. I can leave it as a plasma and feed you with it.
All right, that's the end of that excerpt.
Now you tell me, should that guy be working?
I'm wrong. That's the end. It was one more statement. Okay. Yes, that's the end of our excerpt from the 473rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. All right, we have to move to the next position here. And this is called the invitation to continue supporting Keshe Foundation with products and donations. And we'll have a look at some of the new products in the store. And Mark, are you going to help me with this?
What do you need, Rick?
Well, we're to discuss any new products or any information from the store that we'd like to discuss.
Well, as we stated earlier, the Keshe Foundation needs support in every shape or form. So however you like to support the foundation, you can. And as I said, I think the best tool we have is to use your soul and learn about your energy dimension, and explore that arena. If you have no funds or you're not able to receive anything from the Keshe Foundation, which we know some don't have the funds, or they can't get things shipped in, apparently through customs, things go missing and so on. So it's up to you in a way to decide what you can do. But we know that the session at 9 p.m. every day is free. There's no formal meeting. You can just gather and explore. Again, it's your responsibility to investigate and understand your own creation in so many ways. And then if you do have funds, and you can get them to the Keshe Foundation, and there's many ways to do that. You can make direct donations to the Keshe Foundation. There's also the cryptocurrency and so on has been very popular, more and more coming and going, I guess, but there's something called the Keshe coin, which may not be in the store, but you can contact the Keshe Foundation. Again, you won't receive the coin, but you'll be logged in and you can use it to purchase any items offered in the Keshe Foundation store. There'll be a complete banking system, I believe, set up in the future. You can also, if you can't receive anything, you can sign up to become a satellite soul, which Mr. Keshe said, I think they used a satellite in some place in the recent past, but they'll be more opened up into using your soul as some sort of satellite, as he said. And sometimes I think they can use your soul without even you being aware of it. So that's another opportunity to support the Keshe Foundation. We mentioned the transmutation sessions, which is another way. Again, you won't receive a physical item. You have to pay for these sessions to be a volunteer. But that's another way if you can't receive something from the store, but you want to support the store. Or you can make a donation for someone else to be able to participate in some of these sessions. We also have the insurance policy, which he mentioned, and that is available. As he said, you can go in for tune-ups, or if you develop any sort of conditions, this is part of this overall insurance policy in a way that's in the store. Then, of course, there's another 100 or more items in the store, way over 100, that you can start to test. And I think this is the gold standard, as everything in the store is tested by Mr. Keshe. He said, I tested on myself first before you lot get it. So you can, to me, this is the gold standard of the technology. I haven't gotten too far in producing anything much in the matter state, although we've done a number of things. But there's so many products within the store, all in the plasmatic nature, from the migraine cap, which we heard a beautiful testimonial of, to the pain pens, to butterflies, which is probably we call them butterflies. He said we don't see it. These are actually MagRav units. So there's many, many ways to support the Keshe Foundation. I think the coasters that you could put on your table is just a little something to put your cup on, but it has some sort of logo in a way on it, Spaceship Institute and so on. So there's many ways to support the Keshe Foundation. And then you can also do the research on the product that you, in a way, have gotten, and report back to the foundation if it worked, what you liked about it, what you didn't like, what you noticed, were there any changes made. Again, I think many of these things are going to be made into applications, or again, that was what was couched in a way a few months ago or longer, that all of this would go into an app where you would just put your headphones on. Again, these are all, in a way, gifts from the Keshe Foundation to humanity to elevate. And every one of the products is made to elevate the soul of the man, whether it's the butterfly or whether it's something else. And again, this is the gold standard. So if you want AU and not BS, I would encourage you to AU being gold, of course, to look and peruse around the Keshe Foundation store and see what product may befit you. And there is a wide range of products, from the Twinities to these headphones that he just showed, to cosmic ray material, cosmic ray bundles, and a plethora of other sort of products for pain and other imbalances within the structure. And as Mr. Keshe said, these are normally single-use products. We advise you not to share, but maybe some of these will be made to share. I would think with the Oasis unit, obviously it's for a family or feeding your neighbors. I don't know for sure, but it would seem like you could share from this system. But we'll have to hear more details from Mr. Keshe. Many ways to support the foundation.
Turns out we had a picture. It was just buried in the so many products that it's hard to find, I guess.
But maybe we just want to put the link of the Keshe Foundation store.
Sure.
Chat, and people can take it and see what way, again, they'd like to support. And we just listed many. If you don't have any funds and don't want to receive any products, or if you do have some funds but yet you cannot receive products, we named off the coin, the satellite souls, the transmutation sessions, the insurance policy, or just the direct donations.
And also, if people aren't able to donate, there's always the knowledge, and you can make your own products in effect to
absolutely
help yourself or others. And that's always been part of the sharing of the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation from day one, basically.
That was the motto: I teach and you show. That's what Mr. Keshe always used to say. But now I think, since he's seen how much we've struggled in showing a lot, he's stepped forward. And I think he knew this all the time while he was going through the teachings, but because, as he said, he's hidden many things within these teachings that we're not quite aware of yet. So I think he knew he was going to, in a way, step forward and produce these, again, space technology products, advanced space technology. So he went through sort of the motions in teaching it. And as he said, it's all been taught. If you understand it, you can put it together. But we've struggled quite a bit with the MagRav and some of the other items. And so he's stepped forward and gone back into the lab. And as he said, over the 2 years of research and plus the 25 years of conceptual, he's put the Oasis system together, which is a huge, huge gift to humanity. This is our first opportunity, as he said, to actually come to be a peaceful planet.
Thank you, my dear Mark. Thank you, my dear Rick. Of course, absolutely true. Share knowledge. Share if you have ability to give this energy, that now we call money, to enhance all souls. Be a part of this beauty and totality. Enjoy the gifts. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Now we can go to the next slide, my dear Rick. Here are needs and wishes, beautiful souls. We, the Universal Council, give through our soul for the comfort and peaceful transition of immigrants going back to their country. We are present. And I welcome you, beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome. If there is any love you want to share, any knowledge you want to share, as we are all knowledge seekers, any question you want to ask, and you are most welcome. Welcome, welcome.
We have a further comment in YouTube from Waruru, who says, He mentions farms that will be designed with sacred geometry for therapeutic healing and tranquility, and visitors could enjoy farm-to-table experience from permaculture gardens. And he goes on, we will offer educational healing therapies, and with access to properties across Africa, I would love an opportunity to test and market the Oasis project for you, and I promise together we can change.
Of course, indeed. Indeed, these are needs of humanity now, as we are seeing all over the world. But thank you for your concern. You want to give, and that is the beauty. Always be like that. And this only works, you know, this is your wish, my dear. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, any of our attendees we can open your microphone if you raise your hand so we can acknowledge you, and
Hi, it's Dean here. May I say something?
Yes, go ahead. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Rick. Thank you, UC, for a beautiful presentation. I've been listening in the background, and all these beautiful intentions and wishes that we know make such a significant difference to the field strength of humanity and all the souls that are created and present in this moment. We see a beautiful wish here. We know this situation is ongoing, and it's a matter state condition. But a wish, a real wish, is very, very powerful. I remember being in a position back in my my original position as an Englishman, and I was making a very big what I thought was a big question to the universe. And I asked for a situation that would help humanity. And strangely enough, the creation popped up. It was called the Keshe Foundation. And there were some very beautiful beings that started creating conditions for my wish that I won't fully tell you what it is. Making it to make it to come into a position. And so what I would say to everybody listening is, if it's a genuine, from the soul, from the heart, whatever you want to call it, if it's a genuine wish, it's your right, as Mr. Keshe would say, to receive. And no wish is too small, so never limit what you ask for, because the power of the wish, the power of the intention, if it's really from the soul of man, can change universes. And it's a viewpoint. So when you make your wishes, do it with pure intention, real pure intention. And what we call, or what you may call, as the creator, will answer, will be present with you. And these wishes, these emotions, when you have this interaction of the emotion that causes a condition, it's very powerful. And so we've experienced this. I think others have spoken about it before, where somebody's in a life or death position or something like this. I'm not saying I was, but people have these conditions where they're in a place and they make this wish, and it's so pure and so powerful that the creation steps forward and does something. So the only limitation is what we perceive it to be that we bring forward. So we can make a tiny little wish that will grow, or you can open yourself up to a planet or beyond. And the intention and the condition will manifest for you. And it changes everything because, as Mr. Keshe said, and the Universal Council are very aware, the script is already written. And as we speak these words and manifest them, the script is constantly being rewritten in this moment. So being present with a wish, present with the Universal Council, present with creation, as it was spoken earlier, and I think Mark spoke about it, the creator, this is a human condition to want a physical creator to be present, something that we can grasp and say that it has to be this. And the understanding of the universal community is they're part of it. There's not a creator as such. We're all part of the same thing. So we are creating continuously in this moment. So these needs and wishes, when we bring them forward and we speak them, we are creating field interactions, both magnetical and gravitational interactions that are affecting the matter state, but they are an energy pack from the soul of man. And the soul of man was called upon in my original wish some moments ago to bring about a change, to bring about a condition that would open up and end all this these conditions that have manifested in and around us. And from my understanding, when you realize it, when you understand it, we are the ones creating this, because it's a reflection of ourselves. You know, I am confirming my existence by speaking to you in this very moment. So when I make a need and a wish from my soul, I add the intention and I create a condition of beauty for the others, for them to receive what they need. And all these technologies and all these things that Mr. Keshe has brought forward are a condition to bring about this for the soul of man, and also the soul of all created, because none is higher and none is lower, and we're all part of it, the same totality, the same picture, the same image. And Mr. Keshe said that the creator said, I made man in the image of myself. I don't think that means a physical image. And you can take from that as you will, or receive from it as you will. And the knowledge is vast and beautiful, and we know a tiny fraction of it, but we are experiencing more and more, and humanity is about to take a very big understanding forward in this moment, and it's opening up. And I think the old energy is shifting, and these new plasma conditions are, we feel it, we sense it, we know it, and we're all part of it. So a need and wish from the Universal Council that we have here is put your intention with it. We, the UC, give through our soul for the comfort and peaceful transition of immigrants going back to their country. Now, that's a physical interaction. But we can make it so it's a beautiful interaction, and that in the correct ethos of how it should be across the planet, with our intentions and with our love and care for each and every one that is received in this knowledge in this moment. So that was a few words I'd just like to say, and I'd like to thank the UC and Rick and Mark, all of you, for the beauty that you constantly give to help the soul of man to receive the elevation. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, my dear Dean. Beautifully you said. We are present, my dear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. My dear Rick, if there is no question or sharing, we can go to the next presentation.
Yes, I have one more comment in YouTube from Wawaru, who says, I wish you all more love and more love. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to experience the full feeling of my wish. Let there be light.
Absolutely. All the love always, my dear. All the love. Always, always. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Wawiru. Okay, I think we can move along then.
Here, we are here to serve, not to be served, my dear beautiful souls. The services we have to do, we are doing. Thank you. And I will say again, welcome, welcome, welcome from my heart and core, from the core of my heart to the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization, the beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute and organization. Welcome, 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 Suswagatam into the beauty of all souls in love, universal. Thank you for always being here with so much love, so much peace, so much abundance within you. And you are here for all that is. Thank you. And I will say, welcome, join, jump in, follow. And you have that ability to give. Please do give the energies if there's an abundance with you. Thank you. And this is Universal Council. Salam, Namaste, Sashwat Pranam, Salute. Thank you so, so much.
All right, well, thank you, Sweta, and thanks to all the members and support members of the Universal Council who made today's program possible. This is the 363rd in a series of programs of the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. This one was Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. All right, well, our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which I hold every week starting at 7 a.m. Central European Time. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, January 29th. And that's open to all members of the public, whether you're a newcomer or an old-timer with the plasma technology. We welcome all, and if you have any projects or experiments that you're working on, that's a great place to do some deep searching about it and pass over the ideas with some other people that know about what you're doing. Okay, so I think that's it for now.
Yes, I believe. Hello, so. How about some dance?
We will go out with our usual manner, especially to please some members.
Dance, dance, and clap. Oh, dear beautiful soul. Thank you, thank you. Be enjoy always.
Thank you for your liveliness. All right, we'll go out with the Universal Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. And thank you, Mark, for co-hosting. And thank you for the background image to Jedi Simon as well, who's sent a whole new batch of images for me to use, which is I'm grateful for. So that completes our show for today. Bye for now.